oh my god, this is also why proof Legends has ruined Pokemon. Junichi Masuda's Let's Go project is not allowed to continue after he got kicked out. Welcome back, Wolfpack. Verlis here, and the Pokemon leaks have revealed crazy drama happening inside of Game Freak. I haven't read all of this, I just see Masuda, my goat, is involved and was banned from directing Pokemon games, and Omori is now just the same thing running out of control. No idea what is going on. This video was originally about, like, other issues I have with Game Freak, just kind of splitting. And is that what's going on? Legends, as I predicted, is the new guard making Zoomer trash while the old heads over at Game Freak are trying to stick to the spirit of Pokemon, and that's causing tension inside of the company? Let's find out. If you enjoy the video, don't forget to leave a like, share it with your friends, and comment your thoughts down below. I also might be getting a little unhinged for recording all these videos, and I still have more to go, and that's before Legends releases in like 24 hours. Because I got the Australian version, referred to as the era of Masuda's absolute dominance. Good! Junichi Masuda has proved to be one of the few people left at Game Freak that actually knows what is good for Pokemon and upholds the spirit of Pokemon. And again, I say, please watch my video where I break down Junichi Masuda's interview about Pokepark Kanto, because this man has so much love for Pokemon. He feels like my kindred spirit now. We're just watching everything get stripped away from the thing he is most passionate about. And now they've just kind of like... And this also explains, like, oh yeah, Masuda got moved to the creative fellow over for the Pokemon Company. Which also just sounds like corporate BS of, hey, you got voted out by the board, but since you are an OG, we're just going to golden parachute you or send you off to pasture where you can do your own little projects because you did create the thing and we can't completely get rid of you. So Masuda alone handled development, planning, personnel decisions, public relations, and game design. Yeah, that seems about right from the just directing he's been doing and his overall prevalence, because we actually have this. Let's take a look at the directors of the games. So it's really weird with Satoshi Tajiri because despite creating Pokemon, he's never really had a lead position with the Pokemon Company. He's always like taken a step back and is just really out of any public involvement with Pokemon. So it's been like Masuda and then Omori started showing up and then taking over with interviews as well. It's like these dudes are tight, but Masuda was there from the beginning. And then we also have just the CEO of Pokemon. So Ishihara's just been there and then also does the presentation. But now that Junichi Masuda has been just like cast out of Game Freak, we got this guy. I've never liked Utsunomiya. This is what I mean. This is like the face of the replacement of like the Zoomer era destroying Pokemon, even though it looks more millennial, just like the younger generation, new age, doesn't care about the spirit of Pokemon, likes Generation 5, and just wants to destroy everything that maybe caused internal troubles, and probably started the write-up to PR or something, and started complaining and being a little sissy about it. I don't know. Up through Black and White, it was an era where no one could oppose him. Alright, up through Pokemon Black and White, I still think like X and Y and all these other things still holding it down. This led to a concentration of power, and the organization began to run out of control. Well, that's because there was upheaval. There was dissent among Masuda's ranks, despite him being the one that knows best for Pokemon. Which also gets interesting, because we have the interview with Masuda about the methodical destruction of Pokemon with Pokemon Black and White. That is maybe Masuda's one failing, and I think he's owned up for it and like made up for it, because he went, yeah, people don't play games anymore, especially if they're too hard, so like we have to worry about this younger generation. And he said that about Black and White before social media and smartphones and all this terminally online stuff just started cooking people. So I'm wondering if Masuda realized that catering to the new era and rebranding Pokemon for it was not the play, so he just kind of like settled back into what Pokemon's supposed to be about. That's how we ran into the 3D era. So like all those things might still be mysteries after reading this. But yeah, in personal matters, unnecessary people and favorites emerged. So, like, is that from him, Masuda, bringing unnecessary people into this? Or was he upset, like, other unnecessary people being involved with company, and that's why he has his favorites or something? Oh, yo, That could, like, be a PR report where it's just like, oh, I overheard Masuda calling some people unnecessary. That's very unprofessional. Like, see, I'm white knighting for Masuda all the way on this. My goat did nothing wrong, and if he got kicked out, and this is the report about him, it's going to be biased. It's going to be slanderous, even though it goes back to X and Y. But yeah, and then because we're like trying to interpret translations off of a leak and all these other things, we don't know the exact perspective of everything going on, like the full details of the intercompany politics. So the game's content shifted from being focused on fun to being driven by PR. Not Masuda. There's no way. There's no way that Masuda was PR driven. Maybe in X and Y, and then he came around, because like after Pokemon Let's Go, wait, but Pokemon Sun and Moon was all PR, and then we don't have trailers anymore after they came. See, I don't know, because Masuda's doing both. He has fun. We look at the games he directed. This is all fun. X and Y, fun. Unless, like, he lost that tug of war. But Pokemon Let's Go is pure fun. Even though it had, like, a massive PR campaign, it was still, like, the game that captured the spirit of Pokemon adventure more than anything. How was it that he wasn't aiming for fun when he directed Pokemon Let's Go, and then also went on for Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl for just the nostalgic run back, and then his right-hand man also dropping bangers? They could no longer do proper game design. What's that supposed to mean? So yeah, we just have like these weird little memos about it. Various problems arose. During the development of X and Y, Masuda got into an argument with Sugimori, resulting in a decision that he would no longer be allowed to direct from then on. But then he directed. But Pokemon Let's Go was only 5 years after Pokemon X and Y. However, we do see the other directors, and then, like, yeah, he didn't do it for Sword and Shield and then he got moved over to directing for Pokemon Brilliant Diamond Shine Pearl. But if he wasn't able to develop anymore, then why would he even get Brilliant Diamond Shine Pearl? And then this kind of being an alternative main series project, you know, see, it's like there's so many assumptions, and I'm just rooting for my goat the entire time. We're like, I want the world to be, oh my god, this is also why proof Legends has ruined Pokemon. Junichi Masuda's Let's Go project is not allowed to continue after he got kicked out. The best direction for Pokemon, because all we needed was Pokemon Let's Go Johto, which was just a Heart Gold Soul Silver remake in Let's Go style. Greatest Pokemon game ever. Spirit of Pokemon's alive and well, and we're just trucking. And now, despite Junichi Masuda, we have the breakdown and the just splitting of Pokemon through the Legend series because of the people that voted him out. That's my headcanon, which kind of tracks, because, like, yeah, he made his own, like, Pokemon series to get by the ban, and that just pissed everyone off until he got kicked out. Now Pokemon's dead. Now, him arguing with Sugimori, though, like, they're both from the foundation of Pokemon, right? I thought Masuda was always there. He directed music for the first Pokemon game. Yeah, going on his Wikipedia page, he was a programmer, so he also had actually done work in the Pokemon games, and maybe that's why they said he could no longer do professional design, because I guess he just, like, kept composing or directing and didn't keep up, like, programming languages outside of the Game Boy or something. They're like, yeah, you're not even useful anymore. But that means, yeah, what's the argument with Sugimori? We need the details. Is there details in part 2? Because I haven't even seen this. I just heard, like, oh, Masuda got kicked out. Now what? Not only that, looks like Shigeru Omori is also out as the main director. And that's why Pokemon is dead. That's after he dropped Scarlet and Violet. Except, how is he out as main director? Because that was Gen 10. Like, or that's what he had, like, what's in plan for Gen 10, unless that's actually, like, really old news and everything's delayed and wrong now. First 2 images are from 2021, talking about the state of Division 2 that makes Pokemon games. Can we actually get the translation on all that? Like, there's more here than these little bullet points. That's a lot of Japanese text as to what's going on. They had to make a... Oh, it's also about Titan and Hayabusa. Yeah. I guess these are the spark notes, and hopefully they end up saying enough. So, Division 2, that's what he talked about in the Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon interview, where it's like, yeah, we have the other group that develops Pokemon games, so while they were working on Pokemon Sword and Shield, or actually not even Pokemon Let's Go, the other division was doing Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, which is why he isn't the director there. And then that's when Junichi Masuda, like, bro, they were tight. They were tight and locking it down from all the weirdos. And so the tale as old as time now, where like the grumpy old men that founded the thing are just getting replaced by all these new weirdos that don't understand how the company works. Oh, it's happened. Yeah, see, all my predictions seem to be true, except for like the beef with Sugimori and Masuda, which I wish we had the details on, like what they were arguing about. Maybe that was the fun versus PR, but I don't see how that would be like Masuda betraying Pokemon, but then Sugimori absolutely wouldn't either. I would have expected the beef to be between anyone but Masuda and Sugimori. I'm so conflicted. Mommy and Daddy are fighting. The documents mention that he basically inherited the same structure of power that Masuda had, with no real changes to the structure. Good! Mr. Omori is still serving as Division Chief 2 and Director. If this continues, it will lead to the centralization of authority. Oh! So they were mad that Division 2 wasn't split and he still had control over it. And that's also why it was Masuda and Omori in all the interviews together. And like they were just besties. You get, again, Masuda's right-hand man. So Masuda was lead. Omori was Division 2 lead, so you had like two Masudas running the show as everyone was getting upset. Masuda gets knocked down, and then Omori just replaces Masuda while also keeping his Division 2 power. Interesting. 2024 documents confirm that he's the former director of Division 2. But I guess... Yeah, out... But why, that doesn't sound like he's out as the main director. He's just out as the sub-director for the other division, and since he's still the main authority and has still inherited that from Masuda, it's why he has the Generation game. And then I think that's it. We're like Division 2 is Legends, and that's why I don't like you. WoW's wrong, Tochigi is wrong, and then this dude. He's behind it all. He has to know. Why isn't Ishihara? I'm guessing Ishihara's more homies with Sugimori going that far back. But then, like, Ishihara is actually president of the Pokemon Company, though, not Game Freak. So, because of that, actually, no, that means Ishihara took in Junichi Masuda as his rescue. And it's like, you can now do whatever you want with Pokemon without all those mean people ruining Game Freak, ruining the game side, bothering you. Okay, buddy? That's my happy little Junichi Masuda sent off to pasture cope of this situation. Because we got this, where info about Legends series versus New Generations. Legends is about digging deeper. Except that's BS! They rewrite the lore. They have broken the entire canon of Pokemon. The Pokeballs don't make sense. The interactions with the other regions don't make sense, because Pokemon are terrifying creatures in Hisui, even though the ultimate weapon has been fired, the Darkest Day has happened, and other regions have been established for hundreds of years, because Kurt balls have been made for hundreds of years, and we don't even have a timeline on Hisui, but if it's only like 150 years back, none of it makes any sense, because like also the professor comes from other regions, and the Galactic Corp was made by people from other regions where Pokemon's more established, and then like they regressed into primitive people on this land where it was called Sinnoh mythology, Sinnoh folklore was already established. It's only been Sinnoh. So no, you're not digging deeper. And also, how do you dig deeper with a legend that goes into the future 5 years with Pokemon ZA? Targeted at gamers, digging deeper into action. So I think this also confirms that no, Generation 10 is not going to be action, and that Legends is not the new shift for the future of Pokemon. It's the split. Again, they stole Let's Go from Junichi Masuda, and now they're bastardizing it with this action garbage, and it proves that they were the ones in the wrong, because these are the rookie developers that can't even make an action game. That with all the resources of Game Freak and all this history going on behind it, Pal World just makes a better action game. Animo comes out of nowhere making a better action game. Monster Hunter and Xenoblade have already stomped out Pokemon so hard that there's no reason to even try action inside of Pokemon. And then digging deeper into the worldview and history. I haven't seen any story spoilers for ZA, but again, I don't understand, like, why didn't we go... It's one of those things where it's really hard to go back in the past, huh? I feel like it's really hard to tell the story of 3,000 years ago, And I guess because AZ kind of continues on after the ending of X and Y, Legends can kind of tie that together. But then Zygarde Complete was made for Generation 7, and Megas now really buck all this stuff up, and it's the urban redevelopment. Even though if we go from the redevelopment, like, oh, 50s Kalos, or not Kalos, 50s Lumio City into, like, the 80s or 90s when it got turned into the one of X and Y. That would have been a really cool story. I wanted to go back 20, 25 years. I want to see Lysander as a young kid or, you know, a teenager having his dreams and ambitions, and maybe also, like, going back through the history. Yo, that's actually how you do Pokemon Legends ZA correctly. You have Lysander, like, digging through the archives being like, AZ, the ultimate weapon? Like, where did he get his ideas? Where did he get his fascination to become the villain of X and Y? And then maybe we could have had the professor do something about that as well. Like, not as a part of it, but maybe be best friends with him. And then that just kind of splits up. It's like, hey, you're going down the wrong path. And then he wants to, and then he expresses, I hope I become a Pokemon professor one day. It's like, yeah, we actually just get fake, non-canon BS fanfic. These Zoomers coming into Game Freak with their idea of what they want to turn Pokemon into, with their stupid fanfics and fake lore. And then that's why we have the split with Legends. Main series, target is wide, including beginners and fans. Also, this targeted at gamers is the biggest joke, because gamers laugh at Pokemon Legends Arceus for being the most baby, weak-ass game, and the only people that can like Pokemon Legends Arceus have never played a real game or been outside the Pokemon franchise ever, reflected in the sales of Pokemon Legends Arceus being terrible, because it didn't break out of Pokemon. That, like, Pokemon Sword and Shield and Pokemon Scarlet and Violet did more for getting gamers and Pokemon fans to at least engage with and try Pokemon. But when you have to compete with Monster Hunter, Xenoblade, Xbox, PC, yeah, Legends Arceus isn't it. Legends isn't it. And then you're also trying to tell a story for someone that doesn't have a lot of familiarity with Pokemon. So someone, like, let's say Gen 1, or even though I don't think Gen 1ers actually exist, like, no one only cares about Generation 1. You can find appreciation with 2, 3, maybe liked Pokemon X and Y, something. But let's say the perceived audience is Gen 1er turned Call of Duty lifer, or the people on the Sony, Xbox, PC side of the console war that think Pokemon's a baby game, and, you know, no one plays Pokemon. They're the ones that, like, mocked everyone in middle school in the early 2000s for still being into that children's game. One, like, yeah, you're not going to get them to be interested in the children's game. And 2, if you're dropping them off inside of Generation 4 and Generation 6 lore, they're not going to care or have any investment. So this is actually the dumbest thing I could possibly imagine. And why Pokemon is dead and Game Freak is just killing Pokemon. The target, and then, like, main series target is wide, beginners and fans. I mean, like, yeah, you should be targeting fans, and then you have the respect for the fans. And even with this, like, Pokemon Go has captured everyone more. And that promotes the expansion of playthrough communication. That's the only thing Pokemon should be about. That's why Let's Go was so good. And someone made a comment saying, like, yeah, with Legends, I can't, like, play with my kid anymore like I could with Pokemon Let's Go. Same thing on even main series. Main series isn't as family friendly. Like, that's why Let's Go is such a hit. You need to have the family-based one to get the dad back into Pokemon and then get their kid into Pokemon, and then that spreads like a viral wildfire to have generational Pokemon engagement instead of, we're just going to, whoever wants to play can play, I guess, and it'll be broad enough for... And then with this, it's just kind of, it's a broad, fun game, and if you're interested, you could easily just get into Pokemon. And then, of course, top comment is an idiot. Can people finally stop calling Legends series mainline when it's clearly been a spinoff the whole time? It's literally a part of the main series and has been from the start, and trying to do it to deflect the awfulness of the series. It's actually the most insane, most conspiratorial realist I always write, or maybe that's just the truth. I am the biggest Pokemon fan out there besides Junichi Masuda, so I was able to use my passion and critical thinking skills and just paying attention to how the spirit of Pokemon flows through the universe to understand exactly what broke down, how it broke down, and why Game Freak is terrible now, and why listening to the vocal it's almost majority, because like Pokemon community is majority toxic. They all support cheating. They all hate playing the Pokemon games, and they're all against Spirit of Pokemon. So doing anything to target that audience is just company unaliving at that point. I don't know what else there is to say. The corkboard with string and pins and all the crazy things coming together is just correct and the way it is. And all my feelings about Pokemon just imploding have been validated by the Teraleak. And then I wanted to do one more thing, like soft flashbang warning. This is already white and we're going to a Bulbapedia page, but maybe brace yourself. So I was wondering if it was maybe Pokemon designs that Junichi Masuda is like, yo, I don't think you're designing like the Spirit of Pokemon stuff anymore, and then people get upset. Also, we don't really have as much detail. Like, yeah, it was just worded. Wait, like Sugimori was getting shelved at the same time. Why are they beefing? They need to stick together to not get outvoted. What happened? Because all he did, like, it was during X and Y. He has made Xerneas and Yveltal, but it wasn't even him. Just the legendaries with I guess he had guidance for the legendaries with another designer, and he only made a couple of Gen 5 Pokemon. So like, that's the only thing missing. What was the beef? The OG monster designer was a soft hippie all along. Because, like, he tapped into something special with those eyes and, like, making cool Pokemon. I love that interview where it's just like, yeah, I only knew how to make cool things. And for the mascot, it was hard to make something cute. So we gave the design for that over to that one girl, and that's how Pikachu happened. And Clefairy is Sugimori's attempt at making a cool thing. Other than that, he just wanted to make cool capsule monsters. And thus, Pokemon was born. Why? What happened? Mommy and Daddy were fighting, and then Junichi Masuda left, and now Pokemon's dead.